Welcome to this presentation titled The Anatomy of Value, Core Concepts of Modern Service Management. Today, we are going to deconstruct what value actually means in the context of ITIL 4 and modern business operations. In a world that is increasingly digital, understanding these core concepts is essential for anyone involved in delivering or managing services. We will move beyond traditional linear views of service delivery to explore how value is actually built, perceived, and maintained in a complex ecosystem of stakeholders. To understand the anatomy of value, we must first recognize that all organizations exist to create value, and service management is the specific set of organizational capabilities they use to do it. In today's economy, value is almost exclusively delivered through services. And because nearly all services are now IT-enabled, improving your service management capability is no longer optional. It is a requirement for success. The most critical shift in mindset here is moving away from the idea that a provider delivers value to a passive consumer. Instead, value is always co-created through active collaboration between providers and consumers. Take Axle Car Hire as an example. They provide car rentals, but the value isn't just the physical vehicle. The value is co-created when the customer uses that car to achieve a specific result, like a successful business trip or a memorable family vacation. Value does not exist in a vacuum. It is co-created within a complex ecosystem of stakeholders. Within this ecosystem, there are two primary roles: the service provider, who provisions the service, like an IT department or Axle Car Hire, and the service consumer, which is a generic term for those receiving the service. However, to manage services effectively, we must break the consumer role down into three specific sub-roles, which may be different people or the same person. The customer, the person who defines the requirements and is responsible for the outcomes. The user, the person who actually interacts with and uses the service. The sponsor, the person who authorizes the budget for the service. For example, when a company like Food for Fuel rents from Axle, the company is the customer, the employee driving the car is the user, and the manager who approves the travel budget is the sponsor. It is vital for organizations to distinguish between products and services, as they represent different layers of the value proposition. A product is a configuration of resources, like technology, a fleet of cars, or software, designed to offer value. You can think of a product as the toolbox. A service, on the other hand, is the means of enabling value co-creation by facilitating the outcomes customers want to achieve. If the product is the toolbox, the service is what you do with the toolbox. A single product can serve as the foundation for many different services. For instance, Axle's fleet management system is a product that supports their corporate daily rentals, weekend leisure services, and chauffeur services, each tailored to a different consumer group. To make services tangible to a customer, providers bundle them into service offerings. A service offering is essentially the package a customer sees and buys, and it can be broken down into three components. 1. Goods. Tangible resources where ownership is transferred to the consumer, like a complimentary bottle of water in a rental car. 2. Access to resources. Resources the consumer can use under agreed terms without taking ownership, such as using the rental car for 3 days or accessing a booking app. 3. Service actions. Activities performed by the provider to meet a consumer's needs, such as 24/7 roadside assistance or processing a booking. Axle creates different offerings, such as a family vacation package that includes a baby seat, goods, the vehicle, access, and roadside support, service action, to meet specific market needs. Value is not a one-time event. It is realized through active and continuous service relationships. This relationship involves three key activities that form a continuous loop. Service provision, the activities the provider performs to manage resources and fulfill service actions. Service consumption, the activities the consumer performs to use the service and manage their own resources needed for that use. Service relationship management, the joint activities performed by both parties to ensure ongoing value co-creation. Interestingly, organizations often play both roles simultaneously. Axle consumes cleaning services from Craig's Cleaning to prepare its vehicles, then acts as the provider by offering those clean cars to its own rental customers. One of the most important concepts in modern service management is that services must facilitate customer outcomes, not just deliver outputs. An output is a tangible or intangible deliverable, like a clean, roadworthy car. An outcome is the actual result the stakeholder wanted to achieve, such as closing a successful business deal. Value is only realized if the service helps the consumer achieve their desired results. Providing a clean car, the output, is useless if it doesn't lead to a successful trip or convenient travel, the outcome. In fact, the sources state that an output without a corresponding positive outcome for the consumer creates zero value. From the consumer's perspective, every service relationship has two sides to the scale: costs and risks. Value is created when the positive effects of the service outweigh the negative ones. On the positive side, a service should remove costs, like car maintenance and insurance, and remove risks, like the risk of a mechanical breakdown, for the consumer. On the negative side, every service imposes new costs, the price of the service and staff time, and imposes new risks, like the risk of a data breach in a booking app. Service providers must constantly work to ensure that the outcomes supported and the risks, costs removed are greater than the costs and risks imposed on the customer. For a service to provide true value, it must satisfy two essential qualities: utility and warranty. Utility is what the service does. It is the functionality offered to meet a need, determining if a service is fit for purpose. Warranty is how the service performs. It provides assurance in areas like availability, capacity, and security, determining if a service is fit for use. Both are absolutely essential. A service with powerful features, high utility, that is always unavailable, low warranty, has no value. Conversely, a highly reliable service, high warranty, that has the wrong features, low utility, also fails to create value. Axle's Axle Aware system provides great utility through driver assistance, but it only creates value if it stays available and doesn't crash, meeting its warranty requirements. In conclusion, understanding the anatomy of value is the foundation for building a modern, value-driven organization. We have seen how value is co-created in a relationship between providers and consumers, utilizing products and service offerings to facilitate outcomes. This requires a delicate balance of managing costs and risks while ensuring both utility and warranty. These concepts are the what and why of service management. To put these ideas into practice at scale, organizations look to the ITIL Service Value System, SVS, and the 4 dimensions of service management, which provide the how for effective governance and execution. To visualize this, think of service management as a tandem bicycle. The provider and consumer are both on the bike, pedaling together, co-creation. The bike itself is the product, the toolbox, but the journey and the arrival at the destination, the outcome, represent the true value of the service.